Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Larry Duncan Allen. As you know, recently, the Supreme Court has decided not to include race as a factor for college entrance. I have with me today as a guest Kelvin Ellis, and we're going to discuss this issue. Kelvin, thank you for coming in.
Duncan, it's always a pleasure, man, to sit with you.
Okay,
And this is a subject dear to my heart. So let's go.
and I'd like to know your opinion on this, about the Supreme Court decision.
Well, I look at it perhaps a little bit differently. I think it's wrong, absolutely wrong. There's no way the Republicans can justify it. The advances that we had in terms of civil rights were based on our need for reparations, both financial reparations and social adjustments. We were
Agree.
enslaved for many, many years in this country. And every edifice in this country, every building of any importance, the White House, the Supreme Court, and other buildings throughout Washington, D.C., were built by slaves and envisioned by slaves. A black man designed the whole town. And at this point in time, what they're doing is waging a war against blacks and against women in this country, is what I feel.
I agree. I agree. Well, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that because, um, but one thing that I see about affirmative action is I don't see a whole lot of blacks benefited from it, but I still think that it shouldn't be abolished because any gains we can get is necessary. Because when I look at affirmative action, um, it started off as something to make amends for what was done to blacks. Because
Absolutely.
you had blacks, excuse me, you had blacks going to college who was they weren't allowed in even though they were qualified. And many times they had more qualified than the whites who were let in before them. But see, many white people see it as though, well, but all the blacks qualified. They're usually more qualified. We're not asking for someone to give us a handout. We're just asking a chance to have a seat at the table, be included. If we qualify, let us in.
Well, I think you just hit on the appropriate point behind the whole scenario, Duncan. Uh, the many of the land grant colleges in this country were begun for the sole purpose of allowing black people to be educated and to help lift them up from slavery. Many of those were started as freedmen's schools following the Civil War. The University of North Carolina comes to mind pretty quickly when I say that. That was started as a school for blacks. Now it's undergone a radical change and it's open to everyone. But I disagree with you wholeheartedly when you say many people were not helped by affirmative action. I think millions of people have benefited from affirmative action. I don't think as many have benefited as could have benefited had they been in touch with the history of this country and the history of racism. And we need to move forward and we need to enroll more children in school. We need to get more children beyond secondary education. We need to get people involved in the trades and the advances, the sciences, the science, the math. We need to get more people involved. And affirmative action helped us do that. Now, when they look at it as if they're giving us a gift, they are not giving us some gift.
No,
There was a time when every black man and black woman in the United States was gainfully employed. They were gainfully employed as slaves. They received no money for the work they did building this nation and the work we did suckling white babies, taking care of white masters, and building white plantations that led to all kinds of businesses: the insurance business, the financial sector, the housing business. Those businesses were founded and grew on the back of black people in the United States.
but I tell you why I say black people are not benefiting as much. We used to, but now affirmative action was originally started for black people to gain. But now they've included people of color, immigrants, and white women. So now black people are just a part of that whole group. Now that's 17%. But now the white males are the minority. They get 83%. So now black people just in with everyone else. We're not benefiting as much as we used to.
Well, I'd argue with your figures. Okay, 17% of what and 83% of what. Affirmative action was indeed designed to aid blacks to come up to par and to help them benefit or to give them recompense for their years in slavery. We need to take more advantage of it. And all of our people need to look at it in terms of an opportunity to get an education, learn trades, to become school teachers, doctors, lawyers. We have a wide field of endeavors that can be benefit from affirmative action.
I don't see it as them from slavery. It was many times black people were qualified to go to college. Many times more than the white people were.
Well,
but yet the black people weren't allowed to go because of their race. That's why affirmative action came in. But now they moved it on to everyone else, so the black people are not benefiting as much.
I'm back to disagreeing with you, my friend. Affirmative action was designed to provide recompense for the tragedy of black slavery. And we were to be given preference in order to come up to par with the whites and the immigrants in this country. That's why affirmative action was started.
Well, how can we become up to par with them when they're included in it now?
Well, they found out that we were benefiting and decided to backdoor the whole affirmative action program.
That's why I said now we're not benefiting as much. We used to.
We benefit tremendously.
No, we're not benefiting as much as we used to.
Well, I just don't agree.
Because affirmative action is for government. So I tell you why I say that.
Not just for government
program, but government contracts. A lot of these private companies can circumvent around it.
A lot of these private companies indeed do circumvent the whole scenario. Even the government does what it can to circumvent the hiring and the advancement of blacks.
But legal is not legal for the government to, but it's not illegal for the private firms to do it.
Yes, it is. It is illegal.
Not unless they get caught.
It's illegal. And that's how they can get caught. It's against the law for much of what they've done. One of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life was advanced in the city council. I don't know if they passed it or not. I didn't attend the last city council meeting where someone, I don't know who, because they refused to sign it, or did not sign it, I should say, wanted every individual in the town to join a labor union, to be part of a labor union, or they couldn't work in this town. How do you propose something like that in a black town? Now, thank God, okay, we have people who are alert enough to catch that. Our current mayor, Charlie Powell, is an absolute genius. Now, what we have to do is rely on both his genius, his goodwill, and his heart to make the right decision and to lead others who may not be as gifted as he is intellectually to make the right decision so that more blacks in this town are going to work. There's a concept called proportional representation. And if 17% of the people in the United States are black or of African lineage, then 17% of the people in this country need to go to work and to be advantaged by the programs and the opportunities that the United States offer. The best affirmative action projects have occurred within the United States military service. The GI Bill is affirmative action. If you serve, no matter what your color, okay, you're allowed to gain benefits that help you buy homes, help you get an education, help you raise your family. So we've always been surrounded by affirmative action, but that affirmative action didn't always touch us.
Affirmative action, we've always had affirmative action when it was whites only. So no one cared when whites, when affirmative action was, if you white, you get the job.
Well, it wasn't affirmative action. That was white privilege.
What I'm telling you, I'm showing you where it was when it was whites getting things because they were white, they didn't mind. When black people benefit because we're black, that's when they mind.
That's not affirmative action.
I don't see
that's
what I know.
Privilege.
But that's what I'm saying. I know it's white privilege. I'm showing you the parallel. I'm just showing you the parallel. But the thing about it, trade unions and affirmative actions are two different things because trade unions actually, in the past, they're good for us now, but in the past, they helped keep black people off of a lot of jobs.
That's why we needed affirmative action to say to the trade unions and to say to others, look, you've got to include blacks in that union. You've got to give them the same benefits that you give to those white employees. When those people immigrated to this country from Ireland and from England and from Australia, you open up the doors to them. Affirmative action was meant to open up another door or the same door and to widen that door so that blacks could benefit just as others did.
But you know what the problem with affirmative action? It's included all those people you just spoke about. It has included them, and now black people have been watered down to a very small percentage.
That's not a problem if we're getting 17%.
We're not getting 7. We're included in that 17%. We're not getting 17%.
We're included in that 100%. No, we need to get 17%.
No,
and we need to advance beyond that.
Affirmative action has 17% set aside for minorities, blacks, and white women. That leaves 83% for white males.
No,
so that's not the case.
That's not the case. White males may benefit more because they're a larger portion of the population.
No. When you include everyone together, the immigrants, the white women, the blacks, and everyone, and people of color, the white males now become the minority.
Blacks who properly assert themselves and enter that affirmative action arena can benefit tremendously. Black women become double minorities. They've got to take advantage of what's out there. Okay, it's like, let me use the Army.
But the percentage has become smaller when you include everyone else.
No, Duncan, that's not true. If we got 100 people, 100 marbles in this jar, if we take out the 17 marbles that benefit us, that's what we'll do. Now, our genius, our intelligence, our thriftiness can go beyond that. And we keep getting people who move beyond that. Black women are gaining education at a faster rate than any other segment of the country. Yes, sir. Black women are...
They say black women are dormant into the corporate world, but they're just doing what everybody else been doing. But when a black woman do it, it seems to be as something so special. Well, she's just doing what
I'm going to always support and always champion black women.
I support them too. So I'm not going to make them out to be something they're not.
They are doing a grand.
Black men are advancing too.
Not like black women.
They're entering college at a record number. I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you what happened. In the black community, education was geared. In every other community, education was geared towards the males. In the black community, education was geared towards the female. People used to send their daughters to college and make their sons get a job. See, there are many black men who don't go to college or going to the trade schools, where they make just as much money as a person with a degree.
And they are supported by the affirmative action laws that have been discarded today.
But the percentage has gone smaller.
No, sir. That's bad information.
Look, when they included white women in there and people of color and minority, it started off for black people. When they included all these other people in that 17%, common sense says that the percentage got smaller. For black people.
No, sir. We need 17% or more of everything they're doing. We have an opportunity.
Because everyone else is included.
We have an opportunity to get it.
We're not getting it because everyone else is included.
Black women are amazing and are proceeding at unparalleled levels and advancing. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're excelling. They're making the best grades.
Excelling doing what everyone else is doing.
They're making the best grades and they're growing faster.
But when they do it, it's seen as something spectacular. But everyone else, if they pay their bill, they say, I'm independent because I pay my own bills, I buy my own. That's paying up the dough. If you're gonna be single, that's what you're supposed to do. When they get an education and do what everyone else is doing, they see there's something.
They're doing better than we're doing as men.
Men.
I am a man. I love black men.
Black men has advanced the black race, we stopped advancing when black women took over.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
How are we advancing now?
Okay. We are advancing in every way because everyone in this country, okay, owes some debt of gratitude to black men and women, but the black
I agree
women are
with that.
taking better advantage of the things that are
How?
on the table.
How they
They're
doing?
going to school,
Black
they're
men are
starting
too.
businesses,
Black
not at,
men
the
are
rate,
too.
not at the rate of black women.
Because they're just not starting up.
No,
Black men
that's
already
not true,
have.
Doc. That's
They
not
already
true.
have. Black men related to civil rights movement. They got all the rights for black people. Black men have
No,
done this.
no, sir. They did that in
Yeah.
conjunction with black women.
Few black women.
No. The black
And
women
Cal-
lined up
they
behind black women and supported
When
black
have black
men.
men, women ever supported black men?
Man, black women have supported black women for
How?
700 years.
How? By sleeping with the master and being.
You're talking about slavery.
And
You're
I'm
talking
gonna tell
about
you
slavery.
what they've done.
You're talking about slavery.
I'm gonna tell you what they've done. What black women have done. When in slavery they said the white man was raping the black woman,
Yes,
he was.
he was.
You know what was happening?
Duncan, stop.
Let me tell you.
No.
Let me tell you what
Duncan,
happened.
I don't want to hear that.
Well,
Okay.
you may not want to hear it in my show, so we
the
don't
slave
hear it.
master raped black women
You know,
and raped black men
and they began to
black
like
men,
it. They
not
began
just
to
black
like
women.
it. Wait, Kevin.
Butt breaking.
Kevin,
You know about butt breaking.
Kevin, if it was your show, I wouldn't over talk to you.
Well, hold
Listen,
up.
let me finish what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
Let me finish my
Go ahead.
point. The black woman, even to this day,
Uh-huh.
where that is, she's special when a man of another race pays her some attention. Back then, you know what they actually did? The black went. They started off as rape. They actually thought it was special when the master wanted them.
Duncan,
You know what they did?
I
Let
gotta
me finish. Let
respect
me
you.
finish.
I can't agree with you,
No,
Duncan.
you don't have to agree with me, but listen to me. Cause I listen to you. They would when the master sent for little Becky or little Elizabeth, they got her mother and everybody cleaned up. Got master gonna give you a nice blanket. They fixed her up real nice. They thought it was some
Did she
special.
have a choice?
When a white man wanted
Did she have a choice, Duncan?
it became a choice.
It did not become a choice.
It became a thing of
No, sir.
became a thing of honor.
No,
That's
sir.
what it became.
It's
And you know
not.
what they would do?
It's dishonor.
You know what they would do? They sit there, Becky, who gonna run tonight? Well, old Joshua, he gonna run tonight. Master the bed talking. But see, the thing is, what happened is,
Don't do that. Duncan.
just like many people
No,
say,
I
just
got
like-
too.
but
I got
listen,
too much respect
but
for
listen,
you. Listen
many
to that.
times they talk about the house being and slaves. You know who started that? Malcolm X. And I think Malcolm
Malcolm X
said
didn't
just
start
what he
that.
told- But let me tell you what happened with that. There were more percentage of house slaves who tried to run than field slaves, because the field slaves was more indoctrinated. And what happened was,
See, I
you know what a lot
I disagree with that statement.
You may disagree, but it's true. But I'll tell you
No,
why.
it ain't
I'll
true
tell you
because I
why.
disagree,
But let me
though.
tell you why. When you know a lot of the black slave gospels, they came from the house slaves and their messages to the field slaves. When they out there praying and they didn't want to hear the master prayer, I can't hear nobody praying. Pray down on your knees.
I
But
will,
wait a minute,
I
let me
will
finish.
agree with that statement.
Pray to the master. They did. The house slave did a lot for the field slave to escape, and they escaped a lot. But getting back to affirmative action.
Well, hold up,
Okay.
Duncan. Hold
Go
up
ahead,
now.
go
Let
ahead.
me jump in here. Don't blame that on the black woman. Duncan, you're wrong.
I'm right.
You're wrong, Duncan.
Show me where I'm wrong. Show me where I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Show me where I'm wrong.
Okay. I'm going to support every black woman in this town, every black
I
woman
support
in
them
this country.
too.
Okay, it is not their fault. We can't blame our trouble on black women.
But I don't blame it on them.
Let's get back to affirmative
It
action.
was their ideology, the ideology that was put in their head.
I disagree. Let's get back to affirmative action.
Okay. Where's my show? Let me say what it was.
Well, no, if it's your show, I can just sit here and listen. You call me to talk.
But see, the thing is,
I love you. I
but
think
see,
you're
the
highly
thing about it, it's
intelligent.
my show. I talk about what I want to, but like I said, you know, I love you too, and I think you're highly. That's why I invited you to come.
You invited me.
But the thing is, when it comes to affirmative action, like I say, blacks benefit a lot from it in the years past. I just don't see it happening now.
We still benefit. And up to today, we
But
have
tell me
benefited.
how. Tell me how.
How?
Yeah.
We've been able to use the GI Bill. We've been able to buy homes. We've been able to get jobs. We've been able to get advanced degrees.
Affirmative action didn't cover the GI Bill.
Yes, the GI Bill is affirmative action.
The military
That's
did
all
that.
it is. They advanced affirmative action by expanding on what they were already
But
doing
now they
in the GI Bill.
in the GI Bill, and when you look at affirmative action across the board, when it comes to the military and everything, now everyone is included. So how is black people still benefiting the same?
We benefit if we take advantage of it.
Benefiting the same when everyone else is included. When first it was only towards black. They do that with everything that black people have.
Until today, we had an advantage. That stopped today. Now, what you're saying may occur today, after today.
It stopped a couple of decades
No, sir.
ago.
No, sir.
Now, well, look, if you was the person who affirmative action was started from, and it was just you, and now they included the majority of the rest of the country, how are you benefiting the same?
If there are 1 million jobs and I get 17, 18% of them, I'm benefiting.
You're no longer getting 17, 18%.
Yes,
because everyone else is included in that.
Yes, we
Do
are.
you understand that people of color, white women, and blacks are included all in that 17%?
I've been an EEO officer.
So how is black people still benefiting the same?
You're in my wheelhouse.
But how about, but if you're in your own, tell me how you benefiting the same with everyone else. When you use by yourself, and everyone else included in your 17%.
You know what? When I was secretary of the Board of Police and Fire in this city, a white man could only arrest anyone in this city beyond East Side. Blacks can come out here and arrest nobody. Where your office is located today. Okay? Blacks could arrest other blacks, other Negroes as they called them at the time. Now, Duncan, I used affirmative action to fire 38 white policemen in the city of East St. Louis. Now you look at that East St. Louis Police Department now, the majority of the people is much, much smaller, but the majority of the people there are black men and black women. I put the first 10 women on the East St. Louis Police Department when black men and white men were saying, we don't need no women on the police department. Now we have officers who are women, who have rank, and we have black officers. And those white people who were trying to take advantage of that illegally have been dismissed. Now that doesn't prevent white people from coming to this town and applying for the police department. But you no longer have an inherent advantage because of the color of your complexion. It's open to everybody now. Huh?
A lot of them don't want to come.
Well, a lot of them don't.
But see, the thing is, still, it's like this. If we got a pie, we split it up, 17% go to you and I.
That's right.
But then they include everyone else.
No, the 17,
how you and I still getting the same?
17%
Wait a minute, let me finish. How you and I? Yes, it does.
You're putting them together.
They put white women and everyone in there.
No, sir.
And that's 17%.
No, sir. Not the 17%.
And the white male getting 83%.
No,
but he's picking your pocket because people made affirmative action seem like it's a black people thing.
No, Duncan. I do not agree. Affirmative action is wonderful, and we need to fight to get it back.
We need to get it back. Okay. I agree with that.
All right. Well, why do you want it back if they're picking up?
Because any little bit we can get is fine.
Okay, so let's stay there. Since we can agree on something, let's agree on getting as much as we can get.
As we can get.
I ain't worried about that Irish man. I ain't worried about that guy.
I'm worried about them taking part of our. I'll tell you why. Black people have been through a lot of suffering.
We have.
That other people haven't been through. They've been through their own suffering. We didn't get a part of what the Indians got land, the workers' land, but they got it. We didn't get a part of it. But every time it's time for black, let me finish. Every time it's time for black people to get something, everyone else want to be a part of it. They got cotton pickers now. They got white women in the fields. I'm going to put a picture up of it, looking like slaves. And now it's time to get a payoff.
They don't look like slaves because they don't have to be in the field.
Now it's time to be paid. I'm talking about dressed like them.
Mayor Carl also said something that is so true, and I've been using it ever since he first said it to me. There was a time when every black man and black woman in America had a job. That was called slavery.
That wasn't a job.
That was their job. They had to get up in the morning.
That was work. That was work.
That was a job.
That was work.
That's
how they call slavery a job.
That's how they got a piece of bread.
That's how they avoided that get about it, bread. Okay. I don't agree with that. That wasn't a job.
Well, that's all right.
That was just.
We ain't gonna get caught
call
up in
slavery a job.
Okay. Slavery was horrible. We're beyond that now. Our children have advanced. Our children. And your father, okay, your child has opportunities that you didn't have as a child. My child has opportunities that I didn't have as a child. I integrated to schools on the north side of town, Kennedy School, in the
Yeah,
50s.
you got a rich history.
Okay, so I was there when you walked in and everybody stared at you. And they call you nigga, call me nigga, stomach, buckwheat, and out for 3 years till I got old enough to whoop a few of them. Okay, but I found out I was smarter than most of them. Okay, I was a better athlete than most of
And you
them.
know what? I agree with that, what you said. See, many times when I've talked to white people, they talk about affirmative action. They're like as though they was putting black people into positions they weren't qualified
No,
for.
no, I've never
But
said
the
that.
problem, I'm not saying white
Uh-huh.
people
Yeah.
said that. But the thing is, what affirmative action was meant to do, there were black people who were more than qualified, but yet couldn't get in.
Exactly, exactly.
And what the Supreme Court ruled on was for college exam, but you know they're gonna take it further.
Well, they ruled on college exams, yes,
No,
but they're
for
going to
those
take
getting
that.
enrolled in college.
This is the start of the second Civil War, as far as I'm
And you
concerned.
know what, Kelvin? That is something we agree on because when they overturned Roe versus Wade, it wasn't about if I was for or against abortion. I was for and against rights because I knew that once they overturned that, that wasn't going to be the end of overturning rights. Because remember, they said Clarence Thomas wanted to go even further than that,
Well,
but they stopped him.
Clarence Thomas is a sellout. He's
He's
the worst
old.
example of a black man you can find
I mean,
in the world.
ooh, yeah, I mean,
Okay.
man,
Now he's brainwashed. Okay, Clarence told
he's worse than
Clarence
a white
Thomas
supremacist.
has what they call the Stockholm syndrome. He believes, because he's been captured by white folks, he believes that they are the be all and end all, and we need to think like them, act like them, and dress like them.
Yeah.
We express our culture differently.
See,
We
that's why I
express
like
what
you,
we
Kevin.
believe differently. Okay, I want to say something. I got to do a shout out right now. This is your program. I appreciate it. Okay, Sunshine, Sylvester Lee,
Yeah.
for 45 years has labored to introduce black folks to culture and to train children to see things from an Afrocentric perspective. And yet at the same time, he's right now involved in the school district bringing up young
But you
people.
know what, though?
Harold Lowry, okay, works to try and impress people and show people we can do this as black people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me say this.
Nobody.
Harold Lowry, get
Okay.
well soon, brother. I want to see you back with us.
I'm praying for Harold Lowry, and Harold's a good friend, and he's part of the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
Duncan, I have to give you credit. I remember the day you started learning something about radio and TV.
Yeah.
Okay, I was there.
And
Okay,
at the college.
After college. Now you've gone beyond that. Now you own this station. You out here on the wavelength saying what you believe as a black man.
And you know, Kelvin, you know what I really appreciate about you? You see how you and I can sit here and disagree, but one thing about it, we both got black people
Yeah.
on our minds. We want to see the progress. We just may see a different method, but we want the same end.
We see it different. When I was running track, one guy ran the 100, one guy ran the 880. I couldn't run no 100. Okay. My cousin Michael Goodrich would burn up 100 yards, but I could run the 880. Broke a state record. I could run the 2-mile race.
And it all helped the team to
It all
win the
helped the team
championship.
to win the championship.
Yeah.
Now that's what we have to do. We have to come together and take our various strengths, okay, and couple those strengths so that we can advance as a race.
And see, that's why I was saying like of affirmative action. I don't want to see it abolished. I personally, when I do my research, I don't see where it was as, in the later years, it used to be as a beneficiary towards black people, but I don't want to see it abolished. Just like abortion. When we talk on abortion,
I don't even want to talk.
I don't want to see
I
it
come in to
abolished.
talk about affirmative
But
action.
we're talking about rights now. I don't see anybody rights taken. Because once they start taking rights on, the reason I mention it is because I knew when they took those rights, they're going to start with other
I'll
rights.
do another show with you on abortion if you want to, but I need to say this. Okay, you are a shining example of what affirmative action can create. Now, the opportunity didn't come through you through some white guy. The opportunity came to you through a little old short brown woman
Named Gloria Jackson.
Gloria Jackson, a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, she befriended us both. I was there when the radio station and the TV station started.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, that affirmative action occurred because there's some people in this town who created a community college. They created that community college in
I agree with the
1968.
affirmative action.
Now, Calvin Fern, Robert Easton Sr., Clarence Ellis, okay, there were a group of people. Wavetta Young was key to that, okay? That's affirmative action.
But I never said I was against affirmative action. I just said I don't see where it's benefited us a lot. I'm saying why I see where it's been watered down.
It advanced Gloria Jackson.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, back in that
Gloria
time.
Jackson advanced a young man named, we called him Duncan.
Who
His
living
name
in
was
California, came here. I knew about movies, but I didn't know about TV.
And Gloria took you,
what I'm
put you
saying,
under her wing.
Kevin, you don't understand what I'm saying.
I do
I
understand.
agree with affirmative action.
Okay.
I'm just saying it helped us a lot. But I just see where it's been watered down.
They keep trying to water it down.
It's been
but it's
watered
people
down.
like you to keep them from getting there, just like now. You're sending out on the airways to a million people a conversation
And I
about
hope it
affirmative
helps.
action.
I hope it helps.
And you're saying to them, look, wake up.
Much of
Wake up.
Much of what we've done, even civil rights, has been watered down. If you notice, they're going after everything black. They put a black face on it because they know people going to let them
But
take it.
I want you to understand this. Everybody don't fight the same.
No.
Malcolm fought differently than Martin. Okay.
How did Malcolm fight, though?
Well, Malcolm fought differently than Martin.
But how, though?
He spoke up. He said things.
But what did he actually do?
What did he actually do? He awakened the consciousness of some people and said, look, son,
I'm talking about actually
I'm
do.
telling you. He's
Many people awaken the consciousness.
not like Malcolm. Clean yourself up, son. You got out of prison? Okay, that was part of your
Let me tell you
life.
why I say what I
Clean
say.
yourself up. I'm going to tell you what he did. Clean yourself up. Stand up like a man. Take care of your home. Okay? Develop some spiritual values. I'm not a Malcolm X follower nor a proponent. Okay? Martin Luther
I like Malcolm. Don't get me wrong.
Man,
I just disagree with a
I'm
lot
a
of
very
things he
good
said.
Marshall man.
Oh, me too.
Okay.
They're good Marshall
I
men.
remember a man in this town named Perry Storman. Perry Storman opened them doors at East Side. He was a bus driver. But he said, we're going to get some people in East Side. You're going to have to let my people in. He sent his daughters to East Side and integrated East Side. Meanwhile, Scott
Them
Randolph.
black men was something else.
Yeah. And he was a big black man and he spoke, okay, but people respected him. Rufus Starks opened doors in this town. Scott Randolph trained the owner of this building out there at the adult education. Scott Randolph and a gentleman named Clarence Ellis, who I'm proud to call my father, trained Willie, the guy that owns this building. And Willie has taken us further. He taught young people how to build houses. He taught young people how to work. He helped me open up a pizza parlor with my brother. That was our business partner. Okay? So people advance. I look at Ann Walker, who fought to bring the history of East St. Louis alive. Okay, so there are people that we have to, Elmo Bush, he'll never be given credit for what he tried to do and for what he did. He taught civics and taught people about affirmative rights and the rights of black men and women to stand up in his civics class. I used to run to his class and loved his lectures. Okay? You had others who, in my opinion, were just Uncle Tom. They loved them white folks so much, they just wanted a job, and yes, sir. Okay? And we were surrounded by them. But there were those who spoke up. Tanya Robertson, okay, taught in School District 189, the first black school teacher we had.
Keep giving us that history.
Yeah, well, I'm full of that history.
Keep giving it, giving it. I'm not stopping.
So when we talk about affirmative action, we can see it all around us. William Randolph worked for the government. Her brother, her father, okay, was a civil rights attorney, and Dupree Davis, first black to sit on the township, that led to other blacks sitting on the township.
But see, what you're not getting is that I'm not saying affirmative action didn't help us. I'm saying in 2023, It's been watered down. That's what I'm saying.
But I've never argued that it's watered down.
Yeah.
Okay, where's the
you
modern
said-
Dupree Davis?
but it's as though you're saying that it's still the same as it used to be. Every time I say it's been watered down, it has been
I'm
watered
saying
down.
we're
It's
going
not
to
the
keep
same
getting
as it
our
used to be.
17%.
We're not getting 17%. Everybody else included.
Judge Billy
How do you,
Jones said in his
how can
and
at
fought.
first it's been 17? It was 14% at first for black people when it first started. Then they included immigrants, people of color,
Yeah.
white women.
Yeah.
Now it's 17%. How are you getting the same?
They ain't getting ours. Go over your 83% and get some of that.
But we're not getting it. White males getting that.
No,
83%.
they getting part of that, but we getting some of that too.
When they wanted to rebuild the Bravo Hotel,
Okay.
when they had the first meeting, and then in the council chambers at City Hall,
I was
went
at
there.
the first meeting.
I left out.
Okay.
You know why? It was nothing but white men and one black man, all white contract. Then they went down to a bit. I went down there. That piece of junk, man. If you gonna spend that kind of money on this one building, when you got all kind of projects around town. But look, but the thing is, there was number white men ready to get jobs out
Well,
of
it
it.
wasn't white men that made the decision to give them $37 million.
But I'm talking about to get the jobs. Now that was foolish.
Well, you can't
But the
pass
white
off the
men-
job to the project begin.
What I'm saying, all the contractors up there was white. If there's no black contractors up there, how they gonna get the job?
The owner of the project is a black female, a young black female, who's highly intelligent.
And you know what
and-
she's
and
gonna
committed.
do?
I don't know what she's gonna do.
I've seen. I'm gonna go by history. What I've seen.
Okay.
Even though a black person is over the project,
Mhm.
they still hire out to white contractors. Go. Most of the black contractors are not bonded and certified.
Well, we're gonna get some bonded and certified. I've been in that field. I helped start.
Did you see me was building the East Side football stadium? There was
Yes.
a black woman
I
on that
did.
company.
I did.
There was a lot of white folks.
Yeah.
Most of the white folks
I
do that work.
Okay. So let's be proud of the stadium. Okay. And that
I'm not
stadium
proud,
now,
but black people
and
need
that
to make some
stadium
money
now is
too.
named after a black man, Clyde Jordan. Okay.
But all of that is feelings and you know. But I'm talking about money.
Man,
when it comes to the money,
Black
we need some
kids,
black folks to
black
make some money.
kids have to be able to see exemplars.
And
black kids- black people have to
and
be able
black
to say,
adults have to be
if-
able to make some money.
Yes, I agree, 100%. Now, agree with me 100% on black kids need to see them
I
exemplars.
gotta hear what you
Okay.
say first.
All right.
Then I may or may
Exemplars.
not agree.
They got to be able to look at people like yourself and say, that fella named Duncan got a radio station. I can have a radio station too. He's got a broadcast. I can do a podcast or a broadcast
You know
or a
what hinders
TV
that?
or a movie.
You know what hinders that? Okay, I'm gonna say it. They might get mad at me. The school district. Remember when I had RJ Cross, a white man as my announcer?
I do.
They gave me all kind of country. They thought he was the boss.
Okay.
When RJ died, they found out I was the boss. They stopped giving me contracts.
Okay. Well, if you say that, I'm going to accept that. Okay.
It's
I
the
don't.
truth.
I don't know anything about that.
But I do.
Okay. I went to school with RJ.
RJ was one of my best friends.
Yeah. Well, RJ and I went to school, but you know, Duncan. Now it's your turn. RJ is gone. Okay.
But how can
I
you
wanna-
have your turn when black people won't deal with you like they dealt with the white? They thought the white, even now, they don't, oh, Duncan don't know he don't own that shit. Some white man own it.
Okay.
But see, the thing about it, black people will not deal with you the way that they deal with white people. When they thought the white man was over, I got all kind of contracts. They thought he was over.
They don't know.
They saw white men involved.
They don't know who's in charge because you got other people saying they're in charge too. And I've spoken to you one-on-one about that. I'm not going to call those names right now.
Yeah.
But you're the owner of this station. I hope to see you grow and expand and get
I do
rich.
too.
I'd love to see you.
But the people powers that be don't. Because I tell you what,
Then you got to encourage them to do
I
that.
was at a game when Eastside won third place in the state.
Okay.
And I'll say this because I'm not afraid of anyone. We were joining an interview with a basketball player. The superintendent interrupted us during the interview to me. He wanted to take a picture with somebody. But when those white people are there, they fawn all over them. Right now, I haven't been announced at the Eastside game as game or live streaming the game since the white man died.
Then that's a project.
Since the white man died.
That's an assignment for you. But you've got to play politics the way he played politics.
He didn't play politics. He just had to be white.
No, he played politics.
No.
I was there the day
not
he started
with the school
politics.
He was in politics, but all he needed to do was be white. And
That
he's
wasn't-
not the only one.
That wasn't all he
A
needed
white
to
man
do.
just needs to be white. That's all
I
he
do not
needs.
agree.
And black people,
No.
black people automatically assume he's the boss.
Well, I don't agree that. I don't agree.
You may not agree, but it's the truth because I've seen it happen too many times.
You got to position yourself as the boss.
I have.
I've
The
been
thing
in-
about it, and you know what?
I've been in the room when you
but
made
you know,
his demand.
but you know what else? Even when black people know you're the boss, they'll still cater to the white man that's better than you.
I won't dispute that, but I ain't gonna dwell on that. I'm
When I
gonna
was down
dwell.
on
I'm gonna
14th
dwell
Street.
on you making money and getting rich.
When I was down at 14th Street in Vicky Forbes building, down on 14th Street,
Yeah.
everyone knew I ran the TV station. The black woman coming there wouldn't speak to me, wouldn't even look at me. Go to the white man, speak to him.
That's something you got to work out with Vicky Farber.
No, I'm talking about these were white, the guests. He was guests. That wasn't Vicky. Vicky was nice to me. It was the guests who would come on the show would do that.
Okay, well, there's some people who are misguided. Okay,
The majority.
okay.
Well, you know,
I can't say the
most
majority
black
because I
people
can't.
need therapy.
I can't quantify.
Most black people
Every
need
black
therapy,
person
man.
needs therapy. How
Yeah,
can you live
yeah.
in a country
That's
where
what I'm saying.
they're putting chains around
That's
your
what I'm talking about.
grandmother's neck and raping your daughter and
You said agree with
raping
me
your-
on that.
raping
That's
your
what I'm
son.
talking about.
Okay, and not need therapy.
We need
Any
therapy.
black man in America that don't have issues got a more serious
Something
issue
gotta
than
be
they
wrong.
know. Something is wrong.
I'm wrong because
Okay.
we need therapy because that's why a lot of times I forgive a lot of stuff because I know we got some problems.
Okay, well, let's get back to affirmative action.
Okay, now what we were saying about affirmative action, we disagree about the 17% because it's been established. If you look it up, all people included the
You are
17%,
wrong, Doctor.
except for the white males,
Doctor.
he gets
I
83%.
worked as an EEO officer. You're wrong, sir. You're wrong.
But show me how I'm wrong.
Just check it out, Duncan. I've been telling you since we've
I've
been
checked
sitting
it
here.
out. I've checked it out.
Okay. I've been telling you.
I've checked it out. And
Minority
and
women
the
and-
white man.
Minority women in business become double minorities and receive bonus points.
within that 17%.
No. Within the allocation itself. If you're competing heads up with another company and you are my double minority or American Indian, you have an advantage if you can do the same job.
Within that 17%.
No. Within the overall allocation.
What is the overall allocation?
Depends on what program you go into. Billions of
But
dollars.
see,
are
the
there.
thing about it, 17% of those billions.
You
But
keep
see, the thing
saying
about it,
17%.
because that's what's allocated
No.
for minorities
No, sir.
and blacks.
No, sir.
That's what's allocated.
No, sir. No, sir. You're wrong. And we can do another show, but you're wrong on that. And I want you to come on that other show, and I'm going to put the numbers in front of your face, and I want you to call them out.
But I got my numbers right now. You don't have yours.
Oh, I got numbers. Okay. I'm using 100%. We can go after anything that's out there.
And you're gonna get. And the thing about it, everything's not allocated to you though. Because I'm telling you, the white man never play on the even playing field.
I'm not suggesting he
not
does.
Gonna, he's not going to put you in that 100%.
My comment did not mean that Caucasians are going to play fair.
No, you're not going to play
Okay.
fair. Yeah. So why would they include you in that 100%?
I was a nigger. I was stymied. I was buckwheat in my early elementary education years. But I found I was smarter. I was tougher. I could outrun them and outjump them. Now, we have to take the gifts that God has given us and work. You know this stuff, okay? Now, assuming that another guy walks in here, I don't care what color he is, can he compete with you, okay, in your home field?
But who makes the rules though?
Who makes the rules? You tell me who makes the rules.
The white folks make the rules. You can be the best how you want to be.
Let's change the rules.
They look. Anytime we win, you know the old saying: Every time we win by playing by the rules, they change the rules. The people,
Okay.
the majority who
Okay.
rules this nation.
So you're
controls the
saying we
rules.
have to have adaptability. And if that's what you're saying, if that's the only thing you're saying,
When Obama
I
became,
agree, I agree with you 100%.
but when Obama became president, you know what they started saying? Saying we need to change the way that the president is elected. They wanted to change the rules. A black man shouldn't have done that.
I agree with it. I agree with that. We need to change the rules.
We do need to change it
The
from
president is
that. From that.
Obama did just what I'm suggesting to you. He was adaptable and he took their own rules and he kicked them in the butt. But he didn't do that by himself. He did that with the help of rich people who stayed around Lakeshore in Chicago, who rallied to his cause. Jews, let me say.
And you know what? It's nobody. So much against Mexicans and Hispanics now. They normally, I lived in California with them. They always voted against the black candidate. They were honorary white, but they fooled them in 2008.
We need to wake
They
them
voted
up.
for Obama. But the thing about, I think they need to change from the electoral college.
You do. You're right.
But
Let's talk
every
about,
time
let's
black
talk about
people,
something we can agree on.
but every time black people win by adhering to the system and the rules, they change the rules. Because they control the rules.
Then we need to be more adaptable. Okay.
You can adapt how you want to, but as soon as you adapt, they're going to change the rules again.
Man.
But when they got to adapt again.
Let them change it. I remember a guy I studied. I got a chance to meet him too, right here in East St. Louis. A guy named Jesse Owens. Okay. And they had the Berlin Olympics all set up back in the day before.
Oh, he from East St. Louis?
No, he used to come to East St. Louis to the boys club.
Oh, okay.
And to lecture us black boys. Lecture all of us because it was half white, half black then. But Hitler had it all set up. He's in the stand cheering and talking about how great the Nazis were. They were supermen, according to Hitler. Jesse Owens smoked them on that track.
Yeah, I remember about that.
Now, that killed that forever. Now we look out sometimes and we see a Michael Goodrich or we see a Usain Bolt or somebody on that track, and they're doing all kinds of things. I still, because I ran track, I have a love for it. I still watch the track meets in the Olympics. Okay, I love to see them black girls burning up that track and putting all them records to shame. The young lady, Simone Biles, okay, who just showed them black girls couldn't do acrobatics. Okay.
Oh, they're the best at it.
Okay. Now, they didn't have a chance to do acrobatics. When they got in it, they took it to a whole new level. Black boys didn't have an opportunity to play basketball. Okay? That didn't start off as a black
Now there's a black swim team that's killing it.
I know. All right. So what I'm saying,
we weren't supposed to be able to swim.
What I'm saying to you is this. Okay. All we need is opportunity. And we need to make sure those opportunities stay in place.
But we need opportunity in the business sector also.
We got opportunity.
But it's easier for them to discriminate for us. See, when you're doing something, if a white man and I get in the ring and we boxing, if I beat him, there's no way to say I didn't beat him. Yeah. See, in the business world, there's ways to keep you out.
There's ways to say you
I mean, we've never been on an even playing field, even when it comes to generational wealth. I was just listening on the news today where they talked about how black people's property is so undervalued by sometimes over $250,000. I remember a black woman in Indianapolis. She was selling her mother's house for $200,000. No, she sold it. She had it appraised at $110,000. She said, no, that's too low. So she had it appraised again. They said $125,000.
I remember that.
She had a white friend of hers to sell the same house, same neighborhood, but sold it for her. She got $259,000.
Duncan,
you can't win on it when they're constantly cheating you.
My family had 100 acres. Still has 100 acres in Mississippi. Okay. A great uncle of mine sold that 100 acres for $75 and a mule named Sal.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, fortunately, it was deeded to us by the U.S. government, and it's deeded to the Ellis family in perpetuity. Now, my grandfather paid the taxes and kept it going. Now, that's why that 100 acres is still in the family. We need opportunities. When we get opportunities, we excel, and that's what affirmative action does.
We do. When we get the opportunity, and we can be able to, even though the playing field not equal, we still excel. But the thing is, one thing about that 100 acres, what about the generational wealth that they incurred off of? See, you remember the black people in New York where their land was
I remember
returned to them?
Mhm.
They returned to the land. But what about the generational wealth that the white people incurred? And what about the generational wealth that the black people lost?
My mother, Dr. Willa Ellis, and myself, with the assistance of Senator James Claiborne, sued the Metropolitan Life Insurance Company and the New York Life Insurance Company for writing insurance policies to blacks and not paying blacks. They had quarter policies. I don't know if you're old enough to remember that. They'd send white folks around every week to collect a quarter and claim, well, you want a little Duncan to have insurance, don't you? It's a shame. A boy needs insurance. You need to have something to bury him with. When they got through, they still didn't have nothing. They just took their money. Yeah. We won a nationwide lawsuit against New York Life Insurance Company.
Oh, I know your family got rich history in that.
New York Life Insurance Company was financing the slave trade. Everybody who's in the sound of my voice, please hear that. New York Life Insurance Company was financing the slave trade. Metropolitan Life was financing the slave trade. Now, we need to bring those out. And it's farms like you and people like you that allow us to reach a larger audience and say that. I thank Senator James Claiborne for helping us with that and bringing that to our attention. Okay? I sued, along with some other people, Illinois Gulf and Central Railroad. Do you remember that? You was in town then.
What year was that?
Man, what year was that? That might have been, I want to say, 82.
Well, I was in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we won. Okay. They asked us to send some people down there. They was trying to meet their affirmative action quota, and they needed some blacks to apply. So they asked me if I could send some people. I said, yeah. How many you need? They said, send as many as you could. They didn't know how many I could send. I went to Joe Hubbard, right here in this town. Okay, and I asked him to rent a bus. I went to Bill Creed, who worked for the Methodist Church in Leslie Bates, and asked him to send a bus. Okay, we sent 3 buses of black men and women down to Carbondale, Illinois, to apply for jobs for the Illinois Gulf and Central Railroad. They stood in line for 7 hours, and they didn't interview any of them, not one. Okay, so when they got back, you know who they came to, and I went to the lawyers. Okay, we sued Illinois Gulf and Central Railroad, and every black man and woman that stood in line won some money and a promise of a job. Okay, that's affirmative action. We made them do something affirmative.
I agree.
And some people who stood behind us were some of the lawyers, Goldenhirsch, Attorney Goldenhirsch, right there on Missouri Avenue, represented us for free, him and one of his associates. Okay? And we won millions from them people. Now, of course, because it was class action, we didn't get millions. The field ain't never level.
Oh, yeah, the lawyers.
Yeah, the lawyers ate that up. Action. Okay. Goldenhirsch didn't take any money, but the other guy did. Okay. But the average person got $17,000 for standing in line for 7 hours. Okay. Now, we have to take it to these people. We have to take the fight to them. They think they're going to push us back to slavery. They think they're going to misuse these black women. They think they're going to use our black sons, daughters, and brothers. We're going to stop that because we're getting ready to take them to the mat.
I think affirmative action needs to be saved. Don't get me wrong, because I say I don't think it's like it used to be. We need every bit we can get.
I want you out there fighting next to me.
I'll be out there fighting for it.
You got a sign in your room. You done had almost a year from me. What that sign say?
I haven't even opened it up.
You didn't even open it up?
No, it was yours. I didn't want to open it up unless you tell me to.
Can I open it up?
You can open it up. And then poor people can. Okay, Kelvin, the Illinois Poor People Campaign, War on Poverty. Can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, they're a group of individuals all over the state of Illinois. Um, Most here locally are affiliated with some of the local churches, Macedonia Church and Mount Zion and other churches. And what we did is some time ago we went to Washington D.C. To fight for affirmative action. I see now that they killed it yesterday, but we saw this coming. But we know how it impacts people. It impacts people trying to go to college. Today, they killed the effort that Biden was making to forgive college
The
debt.
student loans, yeah.
Yeah, for student loans, and that's terrible
That
because
is.
they keep giving rich folks money, but they won't take these college students who are trying to better themselves, okay, and forgive them ten to twenty
And
thousand
that's what
dollars.
hurt a lot of them. Even though they get jobs making six figures, they're so they have so many student loan debts. It still hurts them.
I was lucky enough not to need student loans when I went to college. I went to college on scholarships. But for somebody with student loans, that's a terrible burden,
Now,
particularly if you've gone to law school or you've gone to medical school. You owe hundreds of thousands of dollars.
and one thing I like about East St. Louis Senior High School,
Mhm.
they are very good about getting scholarships for their
Mhm.
students. I mean, not just athletic scholarships, but also academic programs.
Yeah,
Yeah. And many of them, they have a program with SWIC. They have an accelerated program where they get 2 years of college.
that's the
and
two plus two program.
Yeah, and then they go to school. I know a girl went to school to play baseball for me. She went to SIU's Carbondale as a junior.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what we should be doing. Now I'm back to that. See, we've got to get them vested in those kinds of programs, and we got to talk about them. So I hope you'll do a show just on that one day. Maybe
Yeah,
you'll meet
yeah.
with District
Yeah.
189 people, or somebody like Nino Fanoa, or somebody who has a history of
Let me
helping
get in,
people get in.
touch with them
Oh,
so I
I'll
can
do
do a
that.
show with
I'll
them.
be happy to do it.
And you know one thing I noticed, I live streamed East Side graduation this year. But the first time in East Side history, the graduating class had more boys than girls.
There you go. I like that. I like that. Okay, but remember what you said now. For the first time in history.
Yeah.
See, we got to get the brothers geared up.
But like I said, at one time, education, other communities, like the white community, education was geared towards the males.
Yes.
But in the black community, it was geared towards the females because the boys, I used to notice my older uncles, before they came to East St. Louis, they couldn't read.
Mhm.
But my younger uncles could.
Yeah.
What happened was, when they was on that farm down there in
They had to
Jackson,
pick that
Tennessee,
cotton.
they had to work that farm.
That's right.
And they couldn't go to school.
Yes.
The girls went to school.
One of my best friends came from Mississippi, same situation. 6'3" and couldn't read or write. But now he's been working in security and retired.
Yeah, my uncles made a good living.
Yeah.
The ones that couldn't read even. Because back then, you didn't have these technological jobs that you have now. You can make a good living even if
But
you
that's
couldn't
why I
read.
keep talking to you about opportunity.
Yeah.
See, these guys just didn't have the opportunity. They wasn't dumb. They was as smart or smarter than some of us.
Yeah.
They just needed opportunity. But they came from Mississippi and excelled, and came from Alabama and Arkansas. My people are from
But
Mississippi.
we know
and
society
Arkansas.
in that era, the society was different. Though. You had more mechanized jobs. They could go work in warehouses and get good jobs. But now you need an education because
Well, no, I'm gonna disagree with that. Now I think it's the first time I've seen where you don't need a college degree.
not in say college degree.
Okay.
I'm saying you got to know how to read and write.
Okay.
Even if you don't, I know some. I have some nephews who were pretty bad boys, and they dropped out of school, but they're intelligent.
Yeah. If
But
you can,
they learn how to read and write good enough, and they better than most people who graduated high
yeah,
school.
but I'm talking about learning to work on that computer.
Oh yeah, you need to educate for
You
that.
know, now, get those skills, and Microsoft and others will teach you that skill free. Okay, so for the first time,
But you do have to know how to read, though.
yeah, you got to know. The first time in my life, I've seen where it may not be appropriate to tell everybody get a college education now.
No, not with college education because see, I went to I didn't really go to a college. I went to film school.
Okay, well, that's a cop.
And if you notice, now they say many black men, they say, black men are also graduating college at a record level, but also many black men are going to trade school
Well, I hope they do.
because men are builders. We built this society and we made it so comfortable and so sophisticated. Women think they don't need us no more. But men are builders, and many of them, I got a friend who he's a plumber.
Mhm.
He done bought about 8 or 9 Corvettes and owned houses
I
and
used
matter of
to.
fact, and the thing about it, he invites me to drive his Corvette. I done drove kept his Corvette for 2 or 3
I used
nights.
to own a plumbing company.
Yeah, and see, he's making a lot of money, but he went to trade school. And I'm gonna tell a story that about a woman I know. She made 6 figures,
Mhm.
and she's a good friend of mine. She had a husband who he's always dirty. He was a mechanic. So why you? She said people. He said why you fool that old dirty man? He said look, that man go around working on cars. He make twice as much money
That's
as I
right.
do.
That's right. That's right. That's
But
right.
they thought because she didn't have that prestigious title that she
When I
had.
raised my daughter, their mother died, but I raised them, 6 kids, and I always told them, I said, you got to stop looking at these guys driving fancy cars. That just means they got a fancy car note.
Yeah,
Okay. Look at the guy who's studying to be a plumber or electrician. They make as much as the doctor.
yeah,
You know what well, I don't even want to talk about what I made first year of plumbing company. Okay. But it was very, very high 6 figures.
yeah,
Okay. So we can do that. We built this country.
yeah.
Now that's one thing you and I can agree with wholeheartedly. We built this country.
Yeah, we did because you didn't build it when you sitting up and looking at other folks' work.
No. Well, they didn't know how. See, it's okay if you're an architect or a builder and you understand that work. Okay. You see somebody build the pyramids and you know how to build it. Okay, you can make that claim. But if you don't know how,
Or you showed them how,
Yeah.
but you sitting there just looking at them picking cotton
Yeah.
and doing everything, and you don't even know how to do it
you're
yourself.
living off the fat of the land.
And I tell you, I don't think this country would be what it be without
No.
black people. You look at all the inventions black people made.
I used to do roofing. Okay. Remodel houses. Okay. So we grow, we change. That didn't stop me from going to school.
And I want to touch on another thing. I'm really disappointed in the divide between black men and women and the way that they're warring with each other. Because neither one of us is going to benefit from that.
Okay, that's true.
Because see, what black people don't realize, black women are large consumers.
Yeah.
And single black women consume more than married black, or even a black woman in the community. Because let's face it, people are not getting married now; they haven't committed relationships. And they see a woman married or in a committed relationship, she don't get her hair done as much. She don't buy as many clothes.
I would agree with that, but we're going to have to get some black women on your show to speak to that so they can speak with authority on that.
And I want them to speak with facts and not come on here to argue. Because usually when you get a black woman on there, what she want to do is argue.
I ain't going to buy into that, Larry.
I'm telling you, I've had them. And that's what they do.
I love black women, and I'm going to stand up for black women,
But see,
and I'm going to advocate for black women.
I'm going to tell you the truth. I love black women.
Okay.
Well, some of them. But the thing is, I'm just going to speak the truth. And then if it's hit somebody, hit them. If it don't, it don't.
Your truth may be different than her truth.
No. My truth gonna come from facts. There has to be a basis of what truth is.
Okay, well, make sure you use that basis.
And that's what I use, facts. I don't talk feelings. They talk feelings, I talk facts.
Bring the ladies on.
I bring them on, and I would come from facts and not my feelings. And that's what they're going. I feel
We don't know what they're going to do.
Like,
ask them to bring their facts.
That's what they always done.
Well, we ain't talking about what they always do.
And that's what they always
They
done.
ain't never been on Larry's show.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
And they'll say something. They come on my show. I didn't even know. You know
Duncan,
what?
I ain't going to do that with you.
Yeah.
I
No,
love you.
no.
I'll
If they,
be at
if
your
they say
show.
what they want to say and say, well, I don't want to talk about it. I say, who do you think
When-
you talking to?
when-
This is my show.
That's right. When you have your women up here, I will sit in your audience.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'll put some chairs out there
But
and have an audience
give us a
too.
little audience.
And we have and the thing about it, it ain't gonna be no arguing them. So one thing I noticed when I talk to them and they have to talk facts, you have a 52-year-old woman sound like a high school freshman.
Okay, that's all right. You sure?
And the thing about it,
let,
I bring them on, and they're gonna talk some facts. If they start talking foolishness, I'm gonna show them the door.
well, that's okay. See, ain't nothing wrong with stopping your show and say, hey, look, this is my show. You need to go. Okay. But bring somebody
Straighten
else.
up. I'm not gonna say you get straightened up first. If you can't straighten up, then you need to go.
Bring some women onto the show. Let them speak to
Oh, I love to have them. I've been inviting them. If you know some that'll come, let me know.
Let's get back
I've
to
been invited.
affirmative action.
Okay, but the permanent, come on, Kevin, this is my show. Let me get back to
I know,
it.
and I know you're going to get me, but I have to keep you on point.
But the thing is, no, you have to keep me on point. I got to keep me on point.
Okay.
But see, when affirmative action, we didn't cover that. Now, like I said, I'm for affirmative action. Don't get me wrong.
We finally got that.
I'm for anything, even if black people getting a little bit out of it. I'm for it. But
Way to go.
I agree with affirmative action was very good in the beginning, but I think we're not getting as much as we used to get.
Well, that perhaps is true. And
That's what my point. We're not getting as much. I'm not saying we're not getting anything. We're not getting as much as we used to get.
I'm not here to agree with you.
Oh, let me move the vitamins out the way.
I need all the vitamins I can get people.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, let's fight for affirmative action.
Yeah,
And let's fight to get some more blacks on that Supreme Court.
yeah.
You know, because it's totally bogus now.
Yeah, oh man, the Supreme Court is a joke.
And let's fight to get some congresswomen, some congressmen, and some senators.
Yeah, and I want to say this: we need the Congressional Black Caucus to actually start doing some things because see, many people say, "Why come Obama didn't start reparations?" Biden. But see, that has to come through Congress, and the Congressional Black Caucus need to take the lead on that.
Unless you and I go to Washington, D.C. and talk to some caucus.
I love to do that. I love to do that.
I can set that up.
I talked with James Lewis about a year before he died. He was over at the NAACP event. But I didn't talk to him about reparations, but I had a good conversation with him for about 30 seconds.
Okay.
Man, 30 seconds with him, man, was like an hour with somebody else. Yeah. I mean, he's very good.
I love
Yeah.
James.
Yeah.
But we got a dynamic NAACP chairman now, president now, Robin Boyd. Robin Boyd is dynamic.
That's Debbie. That's what's her name? I was going to say Debbie Allen. Edna Allen's daughter. And Edna Allen was a great woman. She was my English teacher before I went to California.
Well, Edna Allen, along with Dr. Bill.
Not English teacher. She was one of my teachers. Actually,
Bill Mason.
What's her name? Smith. Lady. She's with the NBC. She was my English teacher before I went to.
Bill Mason and Edna Allen started the gifted program.
Oh yeah. It was at the old Jackson.
No. That's not where it started.
Where did it
It
start?
started Rock Junior High. I was the first student enrolled in the gifted program.
That's what she was my. That was she was my teacher at Rock Junior.
That's right, and I loved her, and I miss her.
And I do too. And her husband,
Bob Allen.
Bob Allen, he's a good guy. Man, in his age, they good down there do 15, 20 push-ups. Right?
Yeah, Bob was all right. Yeah. And clean.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
So they was
the whole family is just some
wonderful,
great people,
wonderful
you know?
family.
It's just some great. We got a lot of great people in this town, but one thing I do hate about black people, many times we focus on the negative side of us too much. When you mention some good black men, good black women, but what about this? We can't see Sharon for looking at Shamika. We can't see Raymond for looking at Ray Ray.
Well, I think it's important. And I issued a challenge to the women on my Facebook page to name 10 black women that inspired them, and poured into them their knowledge and their support. And, I just can't say enough about my own mother, Dr. Willa Ellis, born in a little bitty old town. Town wasn't big as a shop city parking lot. Uh,
Hmm.
but she finished that PhD and raised her
That's
four
great. That's
boys.
great.
Made us love education. And then you run into people like Dr. Allen, and Elmo Bush, and Bill Mason. It's wonderful. We need to do some stories on those people.
Peggy LeCompte. That was my English teacher.
You had a good one.
That was my English teacher. I just remember her name. Peggy
Peggy
LeCompte.
was a dynamic person too.
And then I moved to California for
Okay.
that, you know.
All right.
Yeah, she's a great woman. Still is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of great people.
Man, we did.
Man, there's so many.
Yeah, I love me some Peggy LeCompte.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. I was with them on Juneteenth and the 19th of we was supposed to all go out and eat, but she would return. And I had another engagement to go to.
Yeah.
We were supposed to all go out and eat. I couldn't go out to eat with her.
Well,
You know.
we'll go to eat.
Yeah.
I owe you
Yeah.
dinner anyway.
Oh yeah. You know, the Ellis family been a great family.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Yeah. Your brother, you know, he at the club out there.
Yeah, Edgar.
Great.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
name.
good, great guy. You know, I did some work for him before. You know, and then one of your nephews getting ready to do some work for me with the logos.
Talking
you know?
about Kai.
Yeah, Kai.
Yeah,
you
he's
know.
receiving national acclaim for his artwork,
Yeah,
and he loves teaching.
yeah. I talked with him, man. He sounded like a really great guy. And I met some of your other family, your wife and your nephew and all.
Well, you
Grandson, I think they
yeah.
were all great people.
Well, you had dinner with me at my
You know,
home.
oh man, that salmon, man. I still talk about that salmon.
Yeah.
That stuffed salmon. Yeah, man, I tell you, dude. So I like being around great people. That's why I tell people, you know, surround yourself with good people. Because a lot of people got angry at me because on social media I got into a little back and forth with Umar Johnson.
Mhm.
And what he talks about is mostly people establishing ethnicity.
Well,
And-
you
and
gotta
see-
let. You're right.
And see, the thing about it, all black people are not going to think the same.
No.
And you can see, it's just like saying, see, one thing about black people in this country, we go by race. Other people go by ethnicity.
Yeah.
And see, you can't tell the Japanese that they're the same as the Chinese. Or the Koreans, they're the same. When Hitler was moving through Europe killing folks, they didn't say Hitler was killing his people. He said, because they knew his people were German.
Yeah.
But see, they lump us all together. They killing. Do you know the term black on black crime is only about 15, 20 years old?
I didn't, but I'll say this. Okay. Try telling them same people that all of them got black blood.
Oh, they all the same people then. That's when they unite against us.
Well, no. What I'm saying is everybody has genes from an African female.
They don't care.
Yeah. But I
But you know what? In a way, I disagree with that. I tell you why. They have me from the African female, but they're African male also. You know why? Life don't. People always say women give life. They don't. Women give birth. Life comes from the seed.
Okay.
So they got the male gene. Because you know, in many
We-
countries, they see women as no more than a dirty, a piece of soil.
I know that.
But we don't see that because there's a lot of things they see. You know, we know better than that. We got to think better than that. You know, look at women, try to degrade women like that. See, that's why a lot of women say, I don't degrade women.
Let's lift them up. And I hope.
Because if we say we the head, when the tail is lifted up, the head lifted up.
I hope black women start lifting each other up and start supporting each other.
They do.
Okay.
They just don't support us.
Yeah. Well, they need to do more of that.
Because I tell you what, listen to a black man give a speech. You know, he talk about the uplifting of black people.
Mm-hmm.
When a black woman give a speech, she talk about the uplifting of black women and girls.
Well, when you get them women on this program, I'm going to listen to them from the audience.
I'm trying to get married to Shara Jones in St. Louis because her and I
She's got a connection with East St. Louis.
yeah, because see, she's Burris Jones' daughter, you know.
Yeah, and they're related to people right here in town.
Oh, good. I like to get her on because I think she's very good. She's very phenomenal. Now, we're getting off subject, but that's what I do.
Close your show, man.
No, but
Just
look,
go on for
what do you think about the circuit attorney, Kim Gardner.
Kim Gardner, I think that was foul. I think that was foul. Now they say the lady wasn't efficient. Okay. Uh, but I think they went at it wrong. I think they set her up. And I don't know enough about it to be definitive.
I do know that there were a lot of people who were murdered. They know who did it, and she went and found charges. A few times they had to drop murder charges against people because her office didn't send a prosecutor to court.
Well, they said that. They said that.
And
Not
she what you have to realize is
quite a
that
few times.
she was guilty of dereliction of duty because you have to realize when you're a black person and a woman, they're going to be on you. You have to do your job.
Well,
So I don't think she did her job.
my grandparents told me growing up as a kid, even before I started that little white school, they said, "Son, you're going to school now. Okay, we know you like to learn, but you're going to have to be twice as good as those white kids. I said, it ain't going to be fair for you."
She was in half as good though, because look, you've had black circuit attorneys who didn't go through this because they did their job. We have to realize, black people have to realize, sometimes we can help black people who just don't do our jobs right.
Let's bring some women on the show.
I bring some women on.
Okay.
I've been asking them to.
All right.
I want to bring them on. I've had one.
I'm going to help you get some women on
Yeah,
the
you
show.
help me get some. You help me to get that.
But I'm going to get back to a sick woman right now.
Okay.
Okay.
And tell her I say hello, and I hope she gets well very soon. Thank you for tuning in to No More Water Fire next time. I'm happy to have Kelvin Ellis on. I know we talked about a lot of different subjects. We kind of got off topic, but that's what I do. We talk about things that's impacting the black community because if we agree or disagree on something, one thing we agree on, we love our people.
That's right. That's right.
That's when, and when you do that, it's just like a husband and wife arguing. We argue, we get mad, but we still love each other.
That's right.
So let's don't think because we disagree on. We don't have to be disagreeable to disagree. Because I agree with a lot of people on a lot of things, but I still have the same ends in mind that they have in mind. And like I say, no more water fire next time. You know how the wildfires come out in California? When they fight it with water and can't put it out, then they build an earthen dam in between the fire. Then whether they set the trees in front of them on fire and send fire to meet fire to put it out. Sometimes fire has to fight fire. That's why we say, when it all comes down to where water won't help, no more water. Fire next time. And we love you for tuning in. Thank you.
I appreciate you, Mr. Allen. Thanks for
I
inviting me.
forgot. Did you have any last word?
No. I just want to compliment you for the work you do in the community. And I see you on television, whether you're in Springfield or Chicago or Champaign. I think you do a wonderful thing. I know my friend Gloria Jackson is smiling down on you from heaven.
Oh, Gloria Jackson. She helped me get started.
Yeah.
Well, she started.
Yeah.
Her and Willie Walker.
Yeah.
People like Willie Walker. Willie Walker was a great guy. I hated to lose him. He was a great guy. And he was one man, I never heard nobody speak anything bad about him. Everybody used to say he's a great guy. I know I had closed off, but we had to get that in.
All right.
Yeah.
Take care. God bless.
All right. Thank you for tuning in.
God bless. Thanks for inviting me.
Okay, thanks.